model driver out of called the Chattanooga Flash, and Joe Lee Johnson had the racetrack up at Cleveland, Tennessee. Great guy, got to meet him, got to interview him many years ago, but Joe Lee Johnson, one of the great NASCAR drivers of the day.
Well, let's see if we get a green flag this time around to spare our listeners our discussion of the first World 600, which I was about to launch into, and we have green. Yes, you lucky fans, we have green flag as we take off here with the tag seniors.
And John, a name that you may know, Leon Sells, who is a famous driver and, of course, had a lot of races at Sonoya. He was a 77 driver as well. So they bring it off turn number 4 right now. They're heading down to the kink, and we've got these drivers separated out. Got a little bit of separation between the seniors and the masters as they work their way into turn 9. Is anybody going to set up for a pass? Look like they might be trying to up front. Ozcheek, Danny May. We'll find out who is. I know that's not Danny May that's in the lead right now, even though it may show that on the screen. That's not Danny's driving uniform nor helmet that's up front. We'll find out in just a moment. They come down to turn number 16, and looks like everybody's going to be single file when they come. Oh, Eugene Panenko is our leader right now. Yeah, he was the winner of the pre-final, and Panenko back up front once again. Ozcheek right behind him in that number 88.
These drivers getting straightened out, getting nose to tail to start to figure out their strategy for this race. We didn't see any early battling or early kerfuffles around the kink like we have in other divisions.
Well, we talked about Ozcheek being in second spot, and I look back at timing and scoring right now, and he's not even shown having completed a lap. I'm not sure if that's an error there or if it's, in fact, that he had trouble on the racetrack. Danny May is that second-place driver. You see Danny in the red fairing and the white helmet and the red driving suit. That is definitely Danny May. He told me yesterday he had the wrong gear in the kart. Let's see if he's going to be able to get that right gear and make something happen as he tries to get by Eugene Panenko. They come down to start finish. It's still those drivers. Now Oz he's recognized now in second spot, so that was a little timing situation going on there. So Oz is in second. Danny May back to third in the number 9 kart.
Yeah, technology is a wonderful thing until it isn't. So, but this does help us keep on top of it. But yeah, you're talking about radio waves and near field transmissions and all that. So you gotta be patient with it sometimes as these carts come barreling by.
As a craftsman, I've always heard that nobody ever knows the name of a wood glue until it fails. And when it fails, you say, what bottle was that? I don't want to buy that again. That's the only time you ever know the name of your wood glue. Eugene Panenko and Ozcheek, they're battling tight. Coming off turn number 17, they come down to the wire. It's still Panenko in the lead. Ozcheek kind of ducking his head there. We've seen that aerodynamic thing go on for a few of our drivers, and they head down to turn number 2.
Well, we have our top 4 split into 2 duos right now. Well, we got a little side-by-side action coming up through 3 and 4 as they come by our position.
Good shot.
This will close them up.
Baymax giving us a great shot there as he rides along in third spot. Eugene taking the inside line. Oz trying to see if he can make something happen by going down wide, but he cannot close the door.
So great battle here in our tag senior final. Oz was, I believe, the winner in yesterday's round number 1. So Panenko looking to even that score today. Panenko in that purple driving suit. We saw him getting interviewed after the pre-final. Slides wide. Here's the door open for Cheek. Cheek definitely uses that aerotuck. Some contact just past the start-finish line, almost sending both of them off the track. Panenko's holding on, and here comes Cheek down on the inside. So great action in our tag seniors.
Boy,
Cheek showing a lot of cheek in that.
He is not scared to put the bumper to Panenko, and he's trying aggressively to get by him. But right now, Eugene, after that little bit of bobble right there, Eugene's opened up about a 2-kart length lead.
And Banu Yedla able to close in, by the way, on Cheek, as well as Danny May. We've got a 4-car freight train now as we come through the S's.
Yeah, these first 2 were separated quite a bit over those second 2 earlier, but you see Banu Yedla right there in the multicolored fairing on his kart as he's tightened up to third right behind Ozcheek.
Well, I think the fact that the third and fourth were able to close that gap just shows how much time was lost on that contact. It happened right about there 1 lap ago.
Yeah, right now it's still Panenko. He's out front as he goes down into turn 2. Everybody being aggressive right now. Look at that. Ozcheek right on the back bumper of Panenko once again. But Eugene gets a good push up the hill and still has some distance between he and the driver of the 88.
Well, calling back to my question for Lincoln was, do you wait till the last waning laps to make that move, or you just go ahead and let the chips fall where they may? I think we've answered that question for Ozcheek. He is doing his best to get around early and often.
Well, in other races, we've seen drivers tapping their heads saying, let's get in line. No such agreement here. The only thing that they're not doing is banging heads out there on track. Our top 4 nose to tail down to 16. They should see the cross flags this time, Pally.
Well, Ozcheek is now looking to the inside of Panenko once again. He may be trying something. He may just be testing the waters and not actually show his hand right now, just to see if he's got a little something and then back off and maybe plan for that last run. That's a good question. Do you take it when you, as we said, do you take it when you know you can, or do you wait and hope to have that opportunity again toward the end of the race?
I think it depends on your confidence of staying ahead.
Yeah.
If you can drive aggressively and defensively at the same time, such as it is now, we got them side by side one more time, trying it through 9, not quite.
Yeah, Panenko with a more defensive line down on the inside. Now he puts his hand up almost as if to say, guys, let's settle down and get some laps. But we'll see if a peace accord is going to be agreed to or not. But Cheek once again closes in on the back deck lid of our leader, Panenko.
I vote against settling down myself. I'm enjoying this.
Bill, again, another thing is you may not want to pass that driver that's in front of you because he may not be the kind of driver you want behind you. It just depends on the personality of each individual driver.
That's how it's important to gauge your competition. Absolutely. It just depends on what he thinks he's got underneath him. Does he have the horsepower, the handling to put some distance between him once he gets around him?
Cheek once again up on the outside in turn 9, but cannot make a pass. Something I've noticed each lap, Cheek closer on the inside of turn 2, and now we're seeing Cheek get very aggressive back here, trying to find a way around our pre-final winner from earlier today,
but
Panenko.
He better watch it, though. Banu Yedla is right there ready to attack on the inside of Cheek if he bobbles.
Here he comes, side by side. Ooh,
more contact again.
Yep.
So Panenko defending down the straightaway. That time just clipped the front of Cheek.
Wow.
And again, we see that wider line by Panenko and the tight line of Cheek down through turn 2.
You know, we talk about drivers not knowing where the lap count is. They might forget the white flag. I kind of lose track of it. When you got this kind of racing action going on, I have to say, wow, we're 8 laps into this thing.
So you got to make your move sooner rather than later, especially as tough as these guys are to get around. He did not get the opportunity to try the outside that time, though, going through turn number 9.
Well, we've seen just about everything except a chrome horn at this time, Charles, so we'll have to see if bumpers get into play. Again, Panenko covering the inside briefly. He's going to sweep through turn 17. Last couple times, Cheek has gone to the inside down the straightaway. For now, he just tucks in behind and gets right to that rear bumper again. Maybe turn 2, he'll use that special line again.
Well, he's been going to the inside trying to make that move. Can't keep the momentum up, but every time he comes there thinking that maybe Eugene's going to slip a little bit coming out of turn 2.
So they'll go down through the kink. Our top 4, this is the battle for tag senior. Further back in the field, the man-on-man battle for tag master. Kyle Clark leads Sean Atkins by about 1 second. So we'll stay focused here on our tag senior final.
Well, they're working up the hill right now to the highest point on the racetrack. Eugene Panenko tops the hill right there. Everybody's single file at the moment, but we've still got a lot of racing left to go, coming to 2 laps to go right here as they come by start-finish.
They sweep off of turn 17. Single file for right now. You see Ozcheek not just pulling his head down, almost pulling his arms in to create a more aerodynamic profile like a cyclist. They're single file down through turn 2. Up the hill they go again. Cheek once again showing the nose for a moment to the outside of Panenko.
So I don't suppose they have to shave their legs for this, do they?
Well, you don't see them sticking their leg out like a motorcycle guy going into the corner. At least you don't see that going on.
Once again, Panenko gives up the outside briefly, and we see Cheek side by side. Can he work a crossover? No. Some defensive driving by Panenko, doing that park maneuver we see where he's not going to swing wide. He's going to maintain the lead. So they're going to come to see the white flag this time. So will Cheek eventually use a bumper here to get by Panenko?
You know, John, we talk about many times in oval track racing, drivers will start to diamond a corner. Here they're doing just the opposite. They're going into the corner and almost stopping and immediately turning. So it's like they've opposite of diamonding the corner.
Well, and Cheek is right up beside up the hill. Uden up the hill as best he can, but Panenko holds on. So Cheek going deep into his resume of tricks here to try to find a way around that number 7 of our leader. They're both going to the inside, so aggressive driving into turn 9.
Here it is after all, the last lap as they come through turn 9. Passing zones are getting, there's a premium on them right now as only a couple of those exist from this point on. Let's see what happens in 16 and 17. Panenko has got a little bit of a lead right now. Cheek goes to the high side. Panenko comes into block.
Will we see a crossover? So Cheek down to the inside. They're side by side. He cannot make it happen. Panenko holds off all the charges to win. Cheek, the 4th, comes home 2nd. Banu Jedla 3rd with Danny May in 4th. And now we will await the finish of our Masters, and it looks like they were just about side by side through 17. They should be coming to the line in a moment.
Oz Cheek was giving it everything he had through that last lap. It looked like he was trying to set him up on the outside of 9, hoping to have position going through 10, but he couldn't. Panenko wouldn't give him enough ground to where he could establish that, and I think that's where it paid off for him. Although he was diving everywhere he could on that last lap, even violating Newton's 3rd law there, going to the start-finish line. But great racing there.
In a couple of weeks, that will be the site of the next kart race here as the Winter Series continues. Yes, that's the main track here at Atlanta Motorsports Park. You will not see full-bodied cars out there. You'll see karts on that great facility. I know the drivers are licking their chops for this.
We may see full-bodied cars in the form of bandoleros will be joining that weekend, and perhaps even some legends. So we will have full fenders of a sort.
Those are not full-bodied. They're 5/8 body. So let's get real here, John.
Well, they're not open wheel.
They're not open wheel.
That's coming up
sure.
December 2nd and 3rd here at Atlanta Motorsports Park. So whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, we just ask that you give us a like or a follow so that every time we go live, you'll see that content pushed to you directly.
And of course, in the comments, put where you're viewing from. We always like to know that. It's amazing where our broadcast reaches, and we'd love for you to say, if you're in one of those 49 or 50th states, let us know that you're watching from Alaska or Hawaii this afternoon, or maybe Puerto Rico or one of the other areas of the United States that are not yet states but should be. How about that for a political statement?
Can we work in American Samoa somehow during a broadcast? Or the Northern Mariana Islands.
Guam.
If they get to vote, they should be a state. I put it that way. All right.
If they get taxed, they should be a state.
That's right.
I think it's probably their argument.
I've got kids that live in Washington, D.C. and Georgetown, and they have the taxation without representation deal going on there. Let's go down to Eugene Panenko and to Steve Newbold.
Let's get his opinion on
Man, I'm glad I'm not up in the booth right now because you guys know my opinion of that stuff. But anyways, we're going to get on a different subject. We're here with Eugene Panenko.
There's a reason it's called Liberty Racing Review, right?
Exactly. We're here with Eugene Panenko. This is what, your 4th kart this weekend that has been in victory lane? 5th kart?
No, first.
First kart for Eugene in victory lane.
I went yesterday in Masters class, Tag Master. Now I drove Tag Senior.
So Oz Cheek was giving it everything he had to get around you. You guys were racing really, really hard.
Very hard, yeah. It was maybe sometimes even under the limit. Sorry for that, but I had some issues with the engine and I didn't want to lose my position.
Well, all is good. You and Oz put on a great show. It's always wonderful watching you guys go out and race these tag karts. Do you have any? Do you want to go up to a shifter at some point in time?
Yes, I want to come back to shifter, not to move to shifter, because in past 5 years in Europe I drove shifter.
Well, awesome. I'm actually going to hand it back up to you guys unless you guys have a question for Eugene.
Yeah, I got a question for you, Gene. That was a great race, and I have a feeling that you had more fun doing that than if you'd been out all alone and not a whole lot of competition behind you. You like to have those guys racing you tight. That's just what's fun on this race course, right?
Sorry, only because I hear you and I hear a lot of people behind. I catch only like 30% of your words and didn't understand your
Lucky
question.
you.
Sorry.
Yeah, Steve, tell him what I said, Steve.
He was asking, do you enjoy racing with other people?